Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. First day of spring, year 83. So just here to check out what's going on the server. As a recap, there's nothing I specifically need to be doing on the farm that I'm aware of. I'll kind of double check that and make sure, but at this point I'm just waiting for my wheat to grow. I'm heading down with the FSN equipment right now to work on field 24, which should come up for auction. Haven't been on the server in a couple days. The other thing I'm going to quickly check in a bit is the situation with my pigs. We obviously gave them about 27,000 liters of food, and it's been, I think, 4 days since we've placed them on our farm, or 4 months. So we're going to see how they're doing. My concern is, and unfortunately, I felt a little bit under the weather and haven't been doing much of anything for a few days. And so if they just had 2 days of food, I'm going to have some problems. But I'm hoping we're in better shape. But field 24 is that tiny one over there with lime on it. I'm wondering if I even needed to do anything, but sometimes they're limed and still need to be plowed. They still have stubble. So I may have driven down here for nothing, but no, it definitely has stubble. So, all good. So let me go ahead and unfold. And while we're doing that, let's take a look at the pigs. Alright, so here we see what we've got on the pigs, which is awesome. They've only used about 5,000 liters of food. So, I've got a lot of days. They're basically using maybe 1,000 liters a day. So in theory, I've got several years of food here. Now, some of this may simply be because the consumption that, as I said, was typical of you get about 2 days worth of food. That may be when the pen is fully populated. And since we only have 36 out of, I think, the maximum 108, that may be what's occurring there. But the good news is, yeah, I don't have to worry about anything with their food right now. Now, whoever, if anyone buys this, and my guess is they won't, it's been up for auction. I think it's actually ending in a few hours today. I had seen it come up. I knew it was a tiny field, so I knew it wouldn't take much, and I was kind of getting ready to do it. And as I said, I then felt under the weather and didn't get to it. So luckily it didn't get too serious, and everything seems to be getting back to normal. I'm still not quite there, so I'll apologize in advance if I sound a little strange or cough and forget to take it out or something, but I had the unfortunate reality of I did do a at-home test and found out I did in fact have COVID, even though I'm been vaccinated and so forth. And again, the vaccine doesn't say you'll never get it. It's just supposed to keep things mild, which I would say it certainly had. It never got to the point where I was incredibly uncomfortable. I certainly was a little tired, like I said, not really feeling like doing much of anything, and so felt it was important to try to rest and kind of get on the back end of this, and that's where I'm hoping I'm at. Feel pretty good today, but certainly not clear. I know my voice is still a little hoarse. So as I said, if it sounds a little off to those of you who have watched a little more regularly, that's the reason. Alright, whoops, I didn't realize I had lifted. I must have hit the key and not realized I even hit the key. Oh well, it's alright. So now I will lift, or hit the key, go back, do the other end, and then I think I'll just kind of go across here. My goodness. I've forgotten how to drive over the few days I've been off the server, although, I don't know, one could say maybe I have to know how to drive before I can forget how. I don't know. Not quite sure. But anyway, hopefully that gets the GPS set. And let's get a headland here, and then we should have the ability to kind of go across and then still turn around without too many tractor gymnastics, as I like to call them. So yeah, the value of the pigs seems to have gone up quite a bit too. The mature pigs, the ones that were 6 months when we bought them, they're already at $558, which is slightly over the $525 we paid. So, it looks like it took 4 days to get there, which is pretty nice. Let me make my normal changes. Alright. And then hopefully, yep, this will let me run this way. And now at least we'll have GPS assisting, and we should be able to flip this out pretty quickly. But I know it's been a little while. Probably may not seem like it on the channel, because it probably just came up in the normal cycle. But, you'll be able to tell by the month, obviously. It's been several days since I've been on the server and doing anything and providing any episodes for this, so it did give me some time in between to obviously work on the Survival Challenge series. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, it's obviously a very different style of gameplay than what we're doing here, where we've started with millions and millions of dollars and 160-acre plot and so forth. So, give you a different view of Farming Simulator and the experiences of it. Small machinery, old machinery, things like that, and just trying to make do with anything you can to scrape by and make a few bucks. But, a lot of the reality in that style of gameplay, it's a lot of cutting down trees and selling them for lumber to try to get enough money to actually then buy the equipment to do the other work. And luckily on the map I selected, which I've never played before, the trees are big and large enough that it makes a good amount. So even though it takes 10 or 15 minutes to get to the sawmill because of the distance and the equipment, and the terrain all compounding to make it really, really slow and arduous, I'm actually making decent progress just a couple days in there. So again, if you're interested, if you haven't, hope you'll check that out and follow along there, and I'll try to mix those up a little bit to give folks some different views of Farming Simulator on the channel, because I know it's become all FSN all the time with regard to Farming Simulator, and for those with a taste for something a little bit different, that's been missing for a few months. So I'm trying to add some variety in. It's also interesting for me too that I'm not just doing the same thing. So it should be fun. And we'll see how that turns out and where that takes us. Whoops. I didn't realize I had the plow down. Hopefully it won't turn too much. I think we're okay. Just want to make sure that I'm moving along. Alright, I was worried it was going to leave a little bit, but it didn't, and this looks like it's going to fit within the working width of the plow. So I couldn't have planned it better if I had even if I had tried. So, as I said, quick work at this field, I knew it would be pretty fast. Nothing else has come up. Again, not as I've said before, I want to try to keep you guys informed so that you kind of have as much of an understanding of what's happening on our server as I do, without the necessity to be with me every few days if I log in or whatever and nothing's happening. In those cases, I just usually don't record anything, but I try to make it a point of keeping you up to speed. So now that we've got at least 4 days that have gone by, there haven't been any other plots that have come up that simply didn't require attention or anything like that. It was actually pretty quiet for about a week with the auctions. So that panic I had a little while ago about getting 14 and 15 done because they were a week behind wouldn't have been as large a panic as I thought, because at that time there was usually a new plot up for auction before the previous one came off, or the day right after. So there really weren't breaks, and if that pace kept up and they kept being new, obviously it gets very, very easy to fall behind and make it hard to catch up. But at this point, we're in good shape. This was actually done while the auction is still active, even though, as I said, it is ending sometime today, I'm almost certain. But there are no bids on it, so I don't expect anyone to buy it. I just thought perhaps some of the farmers that are down here, Sears or Bryce, for Anderson Family Farms, might take it up. But I think if either of them are going to buy anything, they're going to be looking for a large field, not some tiny little thing tucked away in the trees, which is not going to yield a lot. And also, frankly, having just worked it, is a pain to work, as surrounded as it is on 3 sides, basically, and really 4 sides, because if you don't own 23, you're going to have to be careful that you're not destroying any crops or doing anything like that. So that's about it. That's really all I have to share today, and so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and continue to head on and do everything I need to get this taken care of and put away properly. But I will see you next time.